Hi, welcome to another video. I hope you guys are all doing well. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Neeva. I'm 25 years old and I currently live in Germany with my husband Ben. And I make all sorts of different kinds of videos about what it's like to live in Germany as an American. And occasionally I make a random video about something I just really want to talk about. Today I'm talking about something that I've wanted to make a video about for a really long time, but I've sort of been avoiding it. The reason being that it's kind of a sensitive topic for a lot of people, which is something that I actually didn't realize until I made a few different videos in the past where I mentioned this subject and I got some really negative reactions. Today I am going to be talking about cigarette and tobacco consumption in Germany and how as an American I feel like it's really normalized here. In the past I made some videos where I mentioned that I felt this way and that I didn't like this aspect of Germany, and I got really negative, even some hate comments calling me a liar, telling me that everything I said just wasn't true, basically just really negative comments telling me that there was no cigarette issue in Germany, that tobacco consumption is way lower than it used to be, and so on and so forth. So basically this led me to wonder why I could feel so strongly that the normalization of smoking was such a big thing here when the people that actually are German and live in Germany don't feel that way. So today I am going to be sharing with all of you all of these sort of thoughts I have on this, all of the photos I've collected, statistics that I've found, information I've seen online and from talking to people here in Germany. And yeah, I'm just going to be going over all of that. So if any of that interests you, keep watching. So before I really get into the video, the first thing I do want to say is that this video is not supposed to make anyone feel bad for being a smoker. If I'm being completely honest, I actually quit smoking cigarettes about 3 years ago now. My husband and I quit together, and it was really hard. I started smoking when I was about 18, and I smoked daily for about 5 years. And while this number might not feel like a very long time for somebody who is a lifelong smoker, it was enough time that I could understand the dependence that I had and other people have on tobacco. I was incredibly addicted. I had to smoke, with my morning coffee, during work, during lunch, after lunch, before dinner, before bed, all of that stuff. It relieved my stress, and yeah, it was just really hard to stop, and I completely understand why people smoke. And I just want to make it incredibly clear that this video is not to shame anybody who smokes. And yeah, basically that's all. I just wanted to get that out there so nobody thinks that I'm trying to hate on them or make them feel bad. That's not what this video is about at all. At the end of the day, we all know that smoking tobacco is really bad for our health, it's bad for the people around us, and it's bad for the environment. And those are the 3 reasons that my husband and I decided to quit together, even though it was really hard. So with that all said, let's get into the video. So the first thing that I want to do is clarify why, to me, it feels like smoking is really normalized in Germany. I grew up in the United States in the mid-90s, early 2000s, and this is when there was a huge anti-tobacco campaign going on in the States. So as a child, it was really normal for people to come into our classrooms and give big speeches and show us videos and show us pictures of damaged lungs, all of these things that were really against tobacco. It was really heavily pressed upon us that smoking kills, smoking is bad for you, it's shameful, it's taboo, and you should never ever do it. Now, while there is still, of course, smoking in the States, there are still people that smoke cigarettes, I think that there is still a lot of shame and sort of fear of judgment that comes along with it. And of course, socioeconomic status plays a huge role in this as well, but when we look at the United States as a whole, it's still pretty clear that everybody has an understanding that smoking is bad. It's not really allowed to smoke anywhere that you want in the States. Some areas it's really not allowed to smoke. You can't just smoke at a children's park or outside of a cafe, or at least maybe you can, but you'll probably get dirty looks and you'll probably get somebody telling you, hey, could you not do that here? If we ever had teachers that smoked cigarettes, we never saw it because they would never smoke on campus because they didn't want their students to know that they were smokers. Same with parents of friends of mine. I never saw any parents smoking, although I can assume that some of them probably did, they just hid it from us. So now that you have an understanding of the culture that I come from, let's look at what's going on in Germany. There were a few really big culture shocks for me when it came to the normalization of smoking here, and I'm going to tell you about them now and also show you guys some pictures that I have. So first up, we have cigarette vending machines. This is something I had never seen before, although I know it does exist in other countries around the world, and it actually does exist in some clubs and bars in the United States, but it's really not normal there. Here in Germany, we have these cigarette vending machines, and they are all over the streets. Like every other street can have one of these. Essentially what it is a vending machine for cigarettes. You can put your ID in and you can pay and have cigarettes come out just like any vending machine. And the worst thing I think about these vending machines is often you will see that next to one of these there will be a children's toy vending machine. So if you go to get your cigarettes, your kid can get their toy right next to you. And this just I find really disturbing because it's literally teaching your kid to buy cigarettes. Also in Germany, we have a lot of designated areas just for smoking. Outside of schools, hospitals, train and bus stations, all different kinds of places, there will be special spots, like usually marked off on the ground, that you're supposed to stand in to smoke. Also in Germany, we have trash cans with a special little ashtray department just for cigarettes. These are really normal, and you can find these types of trash cans outside of a lot of different places, outside of stores, banks, clubs and bars, even at children's parks. So you might be thinking, yeah, but these are all things that are supposed to make it so that people smoke in certain areas and put their cigarettes in certain trash cans. And you would think that would be the right idea. But unfortunately, that's not the case. People still smoke all over the place, people walk down the street smoking, and people throw their cigarette butts everywhere. The pictures that I'm showing here are all taken within 1 to 3 meters away from a trash can. So if society is catering to people being able to smoke responsibly, why don't people smoke responsibly? Germany is also the only country left in the EU that still allows advertising for tobacco. And while it is banned on TV and on the radio, you still find huge billboards plastered with cigarette ads at train and bus stations and along the street. They are actually implementing new restrictions on this, but these new policies won't go into effect until 2022 at the earliest. Also, depending on where you live in Germany, it is still allowed to smoke inside of bars and clubs. And like many European countries, if you sit outside at a cafe or restaurant, there will be an ashtray on your table and you will be allowed to smoke freely. So yes, this is not exclusive to Germany, but it's just another point of the many things that sort of make it okay to be smoking in public. Okay, so let's look at some facts now. If you want to see all of my sources and where I got this information, I'm linking all of the things below so you can check it out for yourself. So from all of these different articles and studies over the past few years, here's what I have found. The United States has a smoking population of around 18%. The European average is 28%. And Germany has close to 30%. Some studies show Germany having 28% average, and some studies show having 30% or even a little bit more than that. And I think the problem here is it's really hard to know exactly. Some people are smokers that smoke all day, every day, and some people are sort of more occasional smokers. And also we have to remember the fact that legally you're not supposed to smoke when you're young, but people still do. And so therefore it's sort of hard to know the exact number. Also, it's important to remember that smoking is technically on a decline in Germany. There are less smokers than there have been in the past years, but we're also not taking into account the fact that vaping is on the rise, and so therefore it kind of balances out. So if we look at these numbers of smokers in Germany, we can make the assumption that 1 to 2 of every 5 people is a smoker here. So that means that if you're out with friends, likely you will be going out for a smoke break. Also, young people make up one of the largest populations of smokers in Germany, and I have found that of all the people I have asked and of everything I have read, people's first cigarette was when they were around 13 to 15 years old. Often because they stole cigarettes from their parents, or they stole their parents' ID and went to a cigarette vending machine. Of course, socioeconomic status also comes into play here. People who have higher education are less likely to be smokers, but they still can be smokers because there isn't as much shame and judgment involved in smoking here. It is normal to smoke in Germany. You might not want to think that that's true, but at least from my perspective as an American, somebody who always grew up thinking smoking was really bad and super negative, it is normal here to smoke. And while smoking may be on a decline here, it's a very slow decline. It's perfectly acceptable to walk down the street while smoking. I see moms pushing their babies in strollers, smoking cigarettes, sitting at the park smoking cigarettes. It's really, really normal. In the United States, it's the complete opposite, and so that's why it's such a culture shock for me to see everybody smoking like it's not a big deal at all. By making this video, I'm really not trying to shame anybody out of smoking, and I don't want people to think that I'm judging them for being smokers. Like I said before, I completely understand addiction, and I completely understand why it's so hard to quit. But I think we all really know the truth, and that is that smoking is bad for you, it's bad for other people, it's bad for the environment. It's just really not a good thing at all. I think it would really benefit Germany if there was a harder push against tobacco consumption. If people were leading by example, kids would be less likely to grow up to become smokers. Alright you guys, I think I have gone on enough about this topic. Please comment below and let me know what you think about this. If you agree with me or even if you disagree, I would love to hear your opinions. And if you did like this video, please hit the like button so I know you enjoyed it. And if you would like to subscribe to my channel, that would be absolutely amazing because then I know that I should keep making videos. Okay, then that's it for me and I'll see all of you in the next video. Bye!